Hi everyone, and welcome to another review from Class 47 Peter. Now, in today's review, we're going to be having a look at a model that was suggested via a poll I did on Twitter. Because I did a poll on Twitter to decide what I was going to review next. Because when I went to Worley, I came away with three models. An Oxford Rail NE cattle wagon, a Kernow exclusive BT well tank made by DJ Models, and then this, a Bachmann Class 47, which this one has been produced exclusively for Kernow. Now, I couldn't decide which of the three models to review first, so I did a poll on Twitter. And in the results of the poll, people wanted to see this being reviewed out of those three models first. And so that's what I'm going to be reviewing, so sit back and enjoy this review of the Kernow limited edition Bachmann Class 47, which this particular model, you can clearly see what 47 this one's going to be. It's 47829 in the police livery. Now, this locomotive did run in this livery in real life in the early 2000s. I believe it may have been something to do with promoting drinking and driving, possibly. I don't know. That's what I remember being told back in the day when this was running, but I can't be too certain of that, to be honest with you. But I did see this locomotive once in real life, and only once. And I remember prior to that particular day, I'd been looking at pictures of this particular locomotive in this livery, in pictures in magazines, and I thought, wow, that's a very interesting livery. And I always remember wanting to see this particular locomotive in this livery. And then, on that one particular day in 2003, I think it was the year, there is actually footage of that on my YouTube channel that was filmed by my dad, because that was in the years before YouTube was around and long before I had my own camera filming trains. And on that particular day, it was actually at my local station at Bescot, where I got to see this Class 47 passing through the station, hauling a car train with a load of Ford vehicles on the back. There was Ford Transit vans, KAs, Ford Focuses. And ever since that particular day, seeing this locomotive, I've always wanted to have this model, to have this loco, I should say, in model form. Now, the Helgen model of 47829 is not very easy to get hold of. I think it's fair to say it's quite sought after, because I haven't seen many of those going up for places like eBay up for sale. This model, however, has been made by Bachmann exclusively for Kernow, and this model only came out last year. And when I went to Worley, I figured that because I've been wanting a model of this for ages now, I think it's finally the time to own one. And so that's what I did. I went into Kernow's stand and I bought this. And I am very, very happy that I've now got this model in my collection. This is the 7th Class 47 I have in my collection, and it's also the 2nd Bachmann Class 47 I have, because most of the ones I've got are made by Helgen. And also the other Bachmann Class 47 I have, D1705 Mammoth, is also a Kernow exclusive. So both Bachmann 47s I've got are Kernow exclusives. There are still a couple of other liveries of 47s I want to get, but this one has been one of the few liveries that I've been wanting to get hold of for ages, and now I finally got one. So, enough with the talk, let's get this model open, because I haven't opened this model up yet. And I'm dying to see what it's like. I have seen it in the pictures and it looks stunning, but I haven't seen it in the flesh yet. Now, this loco doesn't exist in real life anymore, sadly. It was scrapped some years back at Long Marston, which is a shame, but never mind. So this is the usual standard Bachmann packaging, the plastic packaging that we get now. And on the card sleeve here, on the back, we have the brief history of the Class 47, which you can pause and read if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. Then we'll put that down on the floor. Then we'll remove the plastic packaging from the tray. and we first come on to the paperwork. So we'll put the box down to one side. So here we have the certificate, and there's the loco in real life. Pulling some Virgin Mark IIs. In fact, actually, I've actually got 4 of these Virgin Mark IIs, so I'm definitely going to have to couple this loco up to these coaches, because it was a Virgin Trains Class 47. But it was an Expert Virgin Trains 47 at the time when it went into this livery. That's a very nice photo, and then you've got some brief history of the Class 47, including this particular one, where it was pasted into this livery in 2002. So you can pause and read that if you want to. I'm not going to stop you. I was just reading the brief history then. And this is limited edition of 512, so that's 512 models basically. And this one is numbered 427, assuming that's the number of this particular model. So that's very nice, so I'll put that in my folder of certificates, which I have got. I do keep all my certificates and my limited editions in a folder. So I shall put that one in later. So I'll put that to one side. Then we have the instructions, which this is going to be the stuff that we've all seen before. So first of all we have the Collector Club leaflet, which I am a member of the Bachmann Collectors Club, but I've got to rejoin it because my subscription has expired. On the back you've got the product warranty, then you've got the warranty service request and product maintenance and care. Put that to one side. Then we have the instructions itself. So it tells you about the general of it, telling you how it requires running in, removing the body, which is indicated here in this illustration, fitting a DC decoder. It also tells you about the lights as well this model is fitted with. Also tells you about lubrication and the detail parts that you get and where to put them, as you can see there. And then on the front this is a diagram of the model which can be used for spares. So basically if you lose a part you can go into Bachmann spare service and simply order that part. So each part you see here is numbered for that reason. And it also shows you down here the location of the blanking plug and where to fit the decoder basically. So I put that to one side. That'll go into my folder of instructions later on. Now we'll just simply remove the outer plastic casing, and we now come on to the little detail pack, which we will now have a look at. So in the detail pack we get this part, which is to cover up the DCC decoder and something to do with fitting possibly sound, I believe, as well. That's something you get in most models by Bachmann, particularly the diesels. We get a couple of snowplows to fit on either end of the loco, which you can fit if you want to, but I'm not going to fit them because when I saw this locomotive it wasn't fitted with the snowplows, so I'm not going to add them. But you can add them if you want to, it's an optional thing. We've also got a spare coupling. We have a screw link coupling to go on the one end of the loco because on the one end it's already fitted, so this is to fit on the other end if you want to. Then we have all these bits of detail which I've got no idea what they're for or where they go, presuming they go on the front of the bogies, but they're there so you can fit them if you want to. Again we have these little bits of detail which again I've got no idea what they're for and where they go, but they're there so you can fit them if you want. And last but not least we get a load of vacuum pipes which you can fit if you want to. There's a 4 yellow ones and 2 red ones, and there's a couple of these style vacuum pipes, which I do believe 2 of these are actually steam heated pipes. According to the instructions you get some anyway, so I'm presuming it's either of these. And an ECS connector as well, which I believe it might be these. I'm not 100% certain. So you can fit these if you want to, although I wouldn't recommend fitting them all because you need to have enough room for the coupling to swing, whichever end you decide to make, the end of the loco that you're going to have to stop pulling. So what I do with my diesels is fit the one end with details and then I leave the one end with nothing on. Okay, so the detail parts go back in the bag and we'll put them to one side. Some of them I shall add, some of them I won't. But anyway, we will now lift up the flap to the packaging and gently lift the model out. Just close that back up. Put the packaging down to one side and then we are now able to have a look at the model in detail. Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is the weight. This model is very heavy, so there'll be no problems with traction, and all the weight in this model means that this model will be able to pull trains, which is important, because without the weight this model won't be able to pull anything, which is why I often keep talking about it in these reviews. Moving on to the detail now, which first of all we have sprung buffers, as you can see. I don't have much care for sprung buffers personally, as I've said before, but they're there anyway, so if you like them then it'll keep you happy. We've also got an M coupling there on this end of the loco. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the coupling out this end and I'm going to put it onto this end down here where the fans are, because that's the end where I like to have the rolling stock coupled up to. I don't know why, I just do. So that's something I shall be doing. And also, that's also the end where they've put the driver in the cab as well, which you'll see in a while. You've got all the holes in the buffer beam there for the detail to go into, and also you can see that they fitted the jumper cables just here. Now normally they get you to stick them on, but on this model they've already fitted them, which is nice. We also have some separately fitted lamp irons which are painted white and they look really nice. We've got the separately fitted handrails on the front there and a lamp iron, again painted white. And warning signs on the front of the loco there. At the front of the loco, where the 2 light clusters are in the middle, you can see that in this area here, excuse the giant finger, is painted black, just like as it was on the real loco. I think that's called headco box or something, but it's painted black just like on the real locomotive, and the lights also light up as well, which you'll see later on when this model's running. We've got glazing in all the cab windows, and there's also some separately fitted window wipers as well. There's a separately fitted aerial on top of the front of the cab there, which looks nice. And there is also some cab detail in there. Now the controls and the dials, they're not painted, but the seats are painted though, so that does look nice. And I also like how that window has been wound down so it looks like it's open, which is a very nice touch. We've also got glazing in the door there, as well as separately fitted handrails down the side of the door there, as well as the tread there down at the bottom. Just look at the detail on that. That just looks stunning. We've also got the running number 47829 crisply printed on the side of the cab there. Moving down to the bogies, we've got the footsteps there, axle boxes and springs, and they're all there, and it's really nice detail to have, just like on the real locomotives. None of it's painted, but you could paint that yourself if you wanted to. There's some very nice detail on the fuel tank there. such as the fuel tank dial, and just look at the detail on that. That just looks superb. We've also got some warning signs on the tank there, and there's some more of those warning signs on this tank here, as well as some orange squares. There's even some nice bit of detail on these tanks as well, and that looks really, really nice. You've also got the TOPS dialogue crisply printed on the sides of the body there on the locomotive. We've got glazing in these side windows on the body. We've got a nice door here as well, which in reality opens up to the engine. It doesn't open up on the model, but I wouldn't really expect it to be honest. But we do have a warning sign just at the top of the door there, which looks nice. Then we've got this nice little sign on the side of the loco. Now, I can't quite read what it says, but it does say something about... Oh yes, I can just about see what it says. I think it says Rail Inquiry Against Trespass and Vandalism, by the looks of it. Can't zoom in too close so it will go out of focus just like that, but that's what it looks to say, and it's very nicely detailed as well. Moving on to the roof now of the loco, there's quite a lot of detail on the roof. For a start, we have these very nice grills at the side of the loco there. Very nice detail to have. We've also got the exhaust for the diesel fumes to come out of, and there's some rivets around that as well. Now these are what I suppose you could call latches, and they open up to the insides of the engine to lift the engine out. They don't open up on the model, but you know, we don't expect it to, but they're there and they're quite nice to have. On this end of the roof, there's some more detail. There's some more rivet detail here. And then of course you've also got the roof fans with the grills on top. Now the fans don't spin, but they're still there anyway and they look nice. And to be honest, even if they did spin, you wouldn't really notice it half the time anyway, not unless you're looking right down on top of the model. Moving on to the livery now, which the application is rather stunning. There's no uneven coats of paint, it's all been nice and evenly applied. The colours are accurate as well, such as what I suppose you could call a banner in the middle there, with the orange. And also as well, the then British Transport Police logo, which is very crisply printed in the middle there and very nicely detailed. As well as the police lettering on the side of the loco. Correct style of font as well, and superbly printed as well, and very nice and crisply done. Looks stunning. And it's the same story on the other side as well. On the other end of the loco, the detail is the same, with the exception of the screw link coupling, which has already been fitted for you on this end, and of course the driver in this end of the cab. You could swap him over into the other cab if you wanted to. I did do that with Mammoth, but alas, I'm not going to really bother. So it's a bit of a pain in the backside to get the bodies off these models, really, and I don't really need to do that, really, because it's designed to go in both directions. So if this is the end I'm going to have the wagons coupled up to, it doesn't really necessarily matter, because like I said, it's a diesel. It's designed to go in both directions, which is why it's got two cabs either end. An interesting point worth noting, and this is something I haven't noticed until now, is that the bogies are designed to be removable, very much like that of Helgen. I only noticed that when taking the coupling off at that one end, but you know, it's not damaged or anything, because it's designed to be fitted back on, like so. As you can just see, I've just fitted it back on. That coupling was a bit of a tight fit, but it's moved off now, so I can fit it into the other end. So if you do get these bogies coming off, it doesn't matter, it's not damaged or anything, because they do fit back on. Like I said, it's very much like the Helgen diesels, because they have the bogies removed off as well. So now we come on to the running performance of the model, and as you can see, she runs faultlessly around the layout. As you can see, there's no grinding noises, motors burning out. It's running exactly how it should, straight out the box. Smooth. It just stopped and did a bit of track there. Hang on a second, what's going on here? Oh, here comes the HST. About to overtake 47829. I think we better pull the driver up and have a bit of a word with him. Okay, so we've had a word with the driver, and he's agreed to not run at fast speeds whilst the police 47 is on the layout. So normal service coming out of the street. But yeah, as I was saying, it runs smoothly straight out the box, and that's how we expect it to perform, really. Let's get a run of these, running side by side. I got the idea for this, by the way, from that advert from the 80s. Showing a driver in a HT being pulled over by a driver in a police livery class 37. And so I thought I just had to do something like this in a video. I have done this joke before, actually, in the review on this HST, and I thought now they've got the actual model of 47829 in this livery, I just couldn't resist to do it again. So it's just made for a bit of fun. I mean, those two running side by side together, I mean, that really does look great with these running parallel. We'll get one more shot running around, and then we'll get some close-up shots of just the 47, and then onto the loaded test run. And the 47 is leaving the HST behind, even though these are pretty much more or less going at the same speed. Okay, so I think now we'll get some close-up shots running around the layout. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll get some close-up shots of this running around the layout while the HST is running. How about that? Do something a bit different for this review, eh? Now disregard that the shed door is open, I have actually turned the lights off in the shed. Just to show you the working lights on this model. As you can see. Let's do another parallel run of these two. Okay. Just look at that. They've both got working lights as well, and that just looks fantastic to see these two running parallel side by side each other. So it's got directional lights and also interior lighting as well. And that's fantastic. Really is an excellent feature, that. Moving on to the loaded test run now, which we see 47829 hauling the rake of Virgin Livery Mark IIs around the layout. I do need to extend this rake to about 7 at least, but considering there are 4 coaches here, it still looks quite nice, all the same. And regardless how many coaches are here, it still shows why the weight in this model is important. And basically, even if there's just 4 Virgin Trains Livery Mark IIs here, this is recreating the train you saw in the photograph on the certificate of this loco pulling Virgin Livery Mark IIs. So overall then, 47829 in the police livery, produced exclusively for Kernow, is a stunning model. I can't pick faults with it. If you're modelling the modern era, I would recommend getting this model. But then again, if you don't model the modern era, and in my case you just love class 47s and like collecting them, then I would recommend you get this model, because it's something different having your layout. And it certainly is quite mesmerising to see this livery of locomotive running around on your layout. So overall then, I'm going to rate the Bachmann Kernow exclusive 47829 in police livery a 10 out of 10. This has been Class 47 Peter reviewing the superb Kernow limited edition 47829 in police livery, and I'll see you again soon for the next video. Until then, don't forget to subscribe, check out my other videos, and I'll see you again soon. But until then, over and out.